So today, we're diving into a threat that's, well, it's not your average piece of malware. It's more like a ghost in the machine, something built specifically for long-term spying. It's called BRICKSTORM. And you know it's serious because it's got three of the biggest national security agencies putting out a joint alert just to warn us about it.
And this right here, this isn't just some random quote. This is the very first sentence of that joint advisory. And believe me, when these three agencies speak with one voice, it's time for everyone to sit up and pay very, very close attention. What they're saying is, this isn't some random attack. Nope. This is a targeted campaign with a crystal clear goal. Get in, stay in, and do it all without anyone ever knowing you were there.
So, first, let's just talk about how big of a deal this is. We're about to unpack a warning from the real heavyweights of cybersecurity in North America, and their message couldn't be clearer.
Look, when CISA, the NSA, and Canada's Cyber Center all put their names on the same warning, that's a 5-alarm fire in the cyber world. It means the threat is real, the evidence is rock solid, and the potential for damage is huge. And they're not being vague about who's in the crosshairs either. They're pointing directly at the sectors that are the absolute backbone of our government and our tech infrastructure.
Okay, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how an attack like this actually unfolds. CISA gave us a real-world case study from one of their incident responses. And honestly, it reads like the script for a high-tech heist movie. So let's follow the breadcrumbs.
The speed here is just staggering. On day one, the attackers find an unlocked window, basically, a web shell that was already on a server in the company's public-facing network. But once they're inside, they don't just poke around. No, they go straight for the jackpot. They steal the entire building's key registry, the Active Directory database. So by day two, armed with all those stolen keys, they just waltz right past the front desk, head straight for the master control room, the VMware vCenter server, and that is where they plant their secret weapon, the BRICKSTORM Backdoor.
Just look at this timeline for a second. It took the attackers just 2 days, 48 hours, to go from a tiny crack in the perimeter to having complete control over the organization's virtual infrastructure. But you know, the truly chilling part? It's that last date. The malware was still there, still active, over a year later. This wasn't a smash and grab job. This was a long-term, silent occupation.
So we've seen the kind of damage this thing can do. Now it's time to pop the hood and see what makes it tick. This is where the actual design behind BRICKSTORM gets really, really clever. You have to understand BRICKSTORM's #1 job is to survive. It's got this feature that CISA calls a self-watching function. So think of it less like a simple program and more like a digital parasite that is designed to just cling to its host. If a sysadmin happens to find it and tries to delete it, nope. The malware is built to notice that, reinstall itself automatically, and just keep on running like nothing ever happened. It's incredibly hard to get rid of.
Now, to stay hidden for over a year, you've got a big problem to solve. How do you call home to get your instructions without setting off any alarms? And this is where it gets really smart. Instead of using its own sketchy servers that security tools can easily block, it hides its communications inside legitimate, trusted services that everybody uses. It sends its signals using encrypted DNS through public servers like Google and Cloudflare. The traffic itself is wrapped up in multiple layers of encryption and all bundled together to look like one single harmless connection. It's basically the digital version of whispering secrets in a loud, crowded room. It's almost impossible to pick out from the background noise.
So once BRICKSTORM is set up, what can the attackers actually do? Well, pretty much anything they want. They've got the keys to the entire kingdom. They get full command line control. They can upload or steal any file and, get this, they can use the infected server as a secret tunnel to move even deeper into the network. And some versions are even more advanced. They can create hidden chat channels between virtual machines, making their movements totally invisible to normal network security.
All right, so understanding the threat is one thing. But the big question is, how do we actually fight back? Well, the good news is the Joint Alert doesn't just drop this problem in our laps. It gives us a clear, actionable playbook for defense. The crazy thing is, the defense strategy isn't about buying some magical new security tool. It's all about getting the fundamentals right, but doing them rigorously. Keep your systems patched. Harden your configurations based on the manufacturer's own guides. Segment your networks properly so a fire in one room doesn't burn down the whole house. And this is a big one. Apply the principle of least privilege, meaning accounts should only have the absolute minimum permissions they need to do their job. These basic steps are absolutely critical for defending against a threat as advanced as BRICKSTORM. So to wrap this all up, let's just zoom out for a minute. Why does this one specific piece of malware get a multi-agency international warning? It all comes down to the target.
And this really says it all. The main target for BRICKSTORM is the VMware vCenter server. By going after this, the attackers aren't just hacking one computer. No, they're going after the central brain that manages, creates, and controls potentially hundreds or even thousands of other virtual machines.
This chart puts it all into perspective, right? If you hack a single server, you have limited access. But if you compromise the vCenter server, well, that's game over. It gives you total control over the entire infrastructure. An attacker can create their own rogue machines, clone sensitive servers to analyze offline, and then just erase all their tracks. For a nation-state actor that's playing the long game of espionage, the vCenter server isn't just a target, it's the ultimate prize.
And all of this leaves us with a really big, thought-provoking question. BRICKSTORM operates in the virtual layers of our networks, the critical infrastructure that we can't physically see or touch. And as more and more of our world depends on this invisible foundation, figuring out how to secure it becomes one of the most important challenges of our time.